You got to start from the beginning. So, As They Pass didn't start on a CD. Like when I made this album, CDs were not available for underground kids to make CDs. You know, all we had were tapes, and all we had were the skills we had in our pockets. So, for instance, I drew As They Pass cover at my aunt's house on the big kitchen table, and I used whatever crayons, markers, colored pencils she had laying in the little shelf. I took a tape cover of somebody else's, I traced it, and then I had the dimensions of the tape cover, and then I just drew this in there. I think I used a colored pencil, a pen, and like a marker, and made this cover. And this originally was a tape cover. My boy Corey Shaw expanded it, big enough for a CD cover, probably 2 years after when we started making our own CDs. But this was my first album. I can't believe it's been 25 years since I put it out. I was 17 when I put this tape out, and literally used this machine right behind me to make all the beats on here, which were all my first beats I'd ever made on an ASR-10, which was Grouch's ASR-10, which was in Grouch's mother's basement. And Grouch had a job back then. I think he was delivering pizzas, and I was just a little couch surfing, like all I wanted to do was make music. I didn't want a job, kid ever. And I would come over to his house while he was at work. He would let me come to the basement and make beats on his ASR-10, and I would make a beat, record it to the 4-track, which was right next to it, write a song, record my vocals, move on to the next. And I would try and get as much done before he got home from work, because then I just had to step out of the way, you know what I mean? Like it was his equipment. And when I think about it, how gracious and cool he was to let me do that. I was like a little brother by him. It's like I would smoke all his beaties that he left around the room, hiding them from me. I was eating people's leftover food. I didn't have money for my own food. I was just living, breathing music. And so this album, when I finished it, really meant more than the world to me, because this is all I wanted to do. And I went from getting forced and pushed into looking for jobs at, I went to Kinko's, I went to Urban Outfitters, I went to all these places on Telegraph, applying for jobs with a bunch of references that were lies and making shit up, and I couldn't get a job. And so I ended up in his basement making this, drawing this cover myself, and eventually going to Kinko's to print up color copies of the cover I drew, cutting them out, dubbing each tape, writing on them by hand, and As They Pass was my first album. And this is the original incantation of it. Actually, on the CD, I ended up including 3 extra tracks that is not on the original tape. The original tape was 16 tracks. The CD version had original mix of The Dragon, which was a totally different beat, which was a Merce, Grouch, and me song. It had a song called It Could Be You, which was actually recorded after I made the original tape, but when I made the CD a couple years later, this song had no home. It was just a Lucy, and I loved it so much, I was like, I'm putting it on the CD. So It Could Be You, which is still one of my favorite songs. And then The Mission, the song I have with Aesop on the original tape, it's just me and Aesop, and then the song fades out. But on the CD, the full version is with our homegirl Yuki, who also lived in Grouch's basement with me, Lucky, Merce, Grouch, Yuki. We were all in his basement, just like a hip-hop daycare, man. It was nuts. And she was from Japan, and I don't even know how she got here today or how she ended up with all of us. I'd have to ask another one of the legends, but she was down there, and she jumped on the song. And it was a joke. It was like, Yuki, you don't know how to rap. And she's like, let me. She barely spoke English. And she got on this track and fucking destroyed it. Just like chopping, just like, what? Like, how are you doing that? But I was like, I thought it was a joke at the time. I'm like, she's not a rapper. This song is too long now, and I just cut it off. But later on, I'm like, why did I do that? She killed everybody on the song. So it's included on the CD. So when we went to make the 25th anniversary vinyl for this album, I wanted to make sure it had all the tracks that were on the CD, because the version with Yuki is super special. The original mix of the Dragon is important to me because it had the original drum break. Same sample, different drum break. And I thought that beat was better actually, but I went and changed it because I just learned how to chop up drums. I just learned that I could take a break beat, chop the snare and the kick, and then make my own patterns. But I was not good at chopping drums back then, so they sound like crap. The break beat sounded way cleaner. And I remember Grouch telling me way back in the day, dude, you changed it? Dude, the drum break was better. And I was like, no, I like this beat. So when I was approached to do 25th anniversary vinyl for As They Pass, because As They Pass has never been on vinyl, I mean a ton of my albums have never been on vinyl, I was pretty excited to do it, and especially the cat Sean that approached me, he's a record head, he's a vinyl head, he likes to put out high quality items that real vinyl heads would want in their collection, including one of my favorite parts of the vinyl is the gold stamp in the corner, which shows what number of the 200 records that were made that it is, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to me just signing and putting the number down myself. I thought that was super amazing touch. So some of the special parts of this vinyl and why it's of such high quality is it's premium heavy, 175 gram weighted vinyl. It's got the Japanese style 850 GSM hardback gatefold jacket. It's foil stamps, gold foil stamps, which is one of my favorite parts of it. And numbered 1 of 200. So there's 200 that were made, and they're all stamped, foil stamped. And so when he approached me with quality like that, I was like, hell yeah, let's do that. And the cover itself, I imagined in my head, I was like, I just want my eye, but reimagined, and just on a black cover. And my boy Seth Grimm, who did the album art for the latest Grand Tapestry release, that's how I met him. I love his art. Like, his art is sick. Like, I've been waiting to have a project to work with him on where he used his art on the cover. Now this is like a combination of my stuff done by him, but this is him. This is Seth's stuff. I mean, he killed this eye. It's so tight. And that's all I wanted. I didn't want any words on the front. I just wanted the eye. If you guys see this in person, it's ridiculously detailed. The vinyl cover itself is matte. We chose matte rather than glossy because I just think it makes it just look so much more clean that way. And as on the CD, the vinyl has 16 tracks, including the Dragon remix, the original beat, It Could Be You, and the full version of It Was a Mission with Yuki. I mean, even the spine is like extra pretty looking, man. And one of the best parts is that I finally put all the lyrics down for everybody now. I mean, people that are heads have been following me for this long, you've never had lyrics written down officially because they don't exist. I just never did it. So I made sure I typed them all out. There are 2 spots on here where instead of somebody's verse, it's actually like a little story from me about the person. And those 2 people are Arata, because he has a verse on here, and Yuki. Both of them, I couldn't get a hold of them to write their verses down in time. So I just wrote a little story from each of them, but obviously they're rapping in Japanese. All that being said, I can't believe it's been 25 years since I put that out. I was 17 years old, and there's 200 of them. They're very special. I hope you guys end up with one in your collection because you will be very happy. It's something almost to put in a case, like a glass case to me. Yeah, man, appreciate everybody's support and following me for this long. 25th anniversary up now on my website, ElighMusic.com.